Lab D, Jobs Review. As always, the purpose of this nugget is to review the lab items, and the assumption is that you've taken some time to download the lab document and tried to complete the lab items on your own. What I'm going to show you are just sample solutions. They're not necessarily the only correct answers. Okay, our lab assignment this time is a little bit complicated, and it wants me to retrieve a list of all the services on a couple of computers that are set to start automatically, but that are not started. So the first thing I need to do is to create a text file listing one computer name per line. So I'm just going to totally cheat this and use Notepad to create this file. I've got a DC, I've got member, let's just do those two. Those are my main servers. I don't want to make this go too long. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to have to use Windows Management Instrumentation. I could use SIM, doesn't really matter, but the WMI Win32 service class has the information I need. So I really want to do, and I'm just going to test this locally, get WMI object class Win32 service, filter, and I want them where state does not equal running, and start mode does equal auto. Okay, that worked. This computer only has one of those. So I now want to take this entire command, and I am totally just going to put this on the clipboard. And I want to send that to the two computers that are listed in computers.txt. So I'm going to do it with invoke command. Now I'm going to show you two different ways I could potentially accomplish this because neither is wrong. So this is the first way. Computers.txt. The command I want to invoke is on the clipboard. And I'm going to have it run as a job so that these run in parallel. Boom. The other way I could have done this is just to reuse this one command, give it the same computer names, and have it run as a job. Boom. And everybody is still running. So we'll just wait a few minutes. Now, what I'm supposed to do here is wait until these, I'm reading the lab, wait until these are done, and then retrieve the content into CSV file. Okay. It looks like we had a failure on job one. I have a feeling one of my computers is not running. Yep, and it's probably on both of them. So let's get job ID1, select, expand, child jobs. Yeah, member failed. Well, that's fine. We can still receive job ID1, export CSV, bad services.csv. And now that I've asked for the results, I'm getting the results of member as well, which is the failure, and that's the it's saying the server name couldn't be resolved. I think my DNS is either funky or maybe that computer is not running. We'll check that. Anyway, let's see if this actually created CSV file, badservices.csv. Import CSV, bad services. And these, I'm looking for the PS computer name property because these are probably all from my domain controller. Yep, there it is. And you can also see it in the __ server. There's PS computer name. So that worked. Now your challenge exercise asked you to do something substantially the same. Here we go, invoke command. Now the output of this command is a job object. Remember, any results that come back from the remote computer are buffered in memory, and I'm calling those results on purpose. Invoke command itself produces a job object. I can pipe that to wait job and tell it to wait for status any. That'll include failed, completed, everything else. Keep in mind that I still have a computer in that computers.txt that's not working. That's actually going to make this a good example because it'll show us that even if you get a failure, this thing will eventually keep going. So wait job also produces a job object representing whatever job it is no longer waiting for. So let's just briefly talk about what this is going to do. My first command, right here, invoke command, is going to run against these computers, and it's going to tell those computers to run that command. It is running that as a job, which means in the pipeline at that point is a job object. Wait job is going to receive that from the pipeline, and then it is going to wait until that job reaches any state other than running. So we're going to pause everything right here. Once that job enters a state other than running, now I'm guessing based on what we just did, it's going to be failed because one of the computers will fail. Then wait job will produce that job object to the pipeline where it will be picked up by receive job. That's my hope. You never know until you hit enter. Now at this point we're going to have to wait a few seconds because based on our previous experience my member computer is not responding. And so it's going to take the job a little while to figure out that that's the case and kind of get over itself. So I'm actually just going to sit and let this run for a moment. Now, one of the things, if you were really, really struggling to do this, that you've got to remember is to read the help files. In fact, while that's running, I'm going to open up a new PowerShell window so we can look at the help for wait job, specifically the full help. You can see here that I use the job parameter to specify a job. I could also specify it by ID or anything else. Let's go down and look at that job parameter. It says it accepts an object of the type job and it accepts pipeline input by value, which means I can pipe a job into it. This is finished up here. We didn't get any results back, but that's okay. It's possible that my DC, which is the only one that would have been responding to this, doesn't have any jobs that meet that at the moment. So no errors though. That's good. So that's the way you can do that. Again, by reading the help, I figured out that wait job's job parameter will accept a job by value. Now look, this is important. By value happens first, right? So because this is going to get bound, it means I'm locked into this parameter set. I can't specify anything except these parameters. Let me show you what I mean. Let's simplify this a bit. Let's clear the screen. Let's simplify this just a little bit. I'm going to just hit my DC so we can take member out of the equation, and maybe that'll make this run just a little quicker. And I'm going to do a simpler command because the command we're doing at this point doesn't really matter. We're playing around with invoke command itself. So let's just call it, let's just do get process. I'm going to run it as a job and then do a wait job on any, and then we'll see what happens. This might not be passing through, but let's give that a sec to run. So look, again, because job is being hooked up to whatever got piped in here, right? Invoke command produces a job. I pipe it to wait job. See here, it worked. So as soon as it finished running, it waited, it finished running, and then it ran receive job. I'm locked into this though. So down here you'll notice I've got wait job and I can specify a state. Look what happens if I try to do this. Wait job state completed. I don't know what to do. The input object cannot be bound to any parameters for the command. So look what happened here. I specified the state parameter. That locks me into this parameter set. This is the only parameter set that has a state parameter. Now it also has an any and a timeout, but it does not have any parameters that are capable of receiving a job object from the pipeline. And that's what the error is actually trying to tell me. It's saying the input object, meaning the job object from invoke command, could not be bound to any parameters. And this is wait job that's producing that error. It's saying, hey, you piped in a job object. I have no idea what to do with it because you manually specified state, and that's going to lock me into this parameter set. What I did before by using any worked because any exists in a parameter set that can accept jobs from the pipeline. So you do have to be really careful when you're constructing these things to make sure you're using a combination of parameters that is actually valid. So that's our quick review. Keep in mind, as always, just because you got a slightly different answer doesn't mean you were wrong. That's why I call these sample solutions and not answers. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.